This is the part of my story I swore I'd never tell anyone. There is a story that defines me, and yet, it is the one I have spent my entire adult life meticulously erasing from my public narrative. Not because it's illegal or scandalous, though it is certainly on the edge of morality, but because it reveals a truth about my current life that feels like a foundational lie. I am a good person. I know I am. I volunteer. I donate. I'm a loyal daughter and a devoted mother. I built a successful career in a field I genuinely love. When people look at me, they see someone who did all the right things, who earned her comfort. And that is where the lie begins. The truth is, my greatest happiness, the one that makes my life what it is today, was built on the quiet ruin of someone else's life. It was 10 years ago, and I was Sarah. Just Sarah. In a job I hated, dating a man who bored me, and living in an apartment where the smell of stale microwave popcorn never quite left the walls. I was 27, watching my 30s creep closer, feeling the distinct heavy weight of mediocrity settling in. I was desperate for a change, the kind of change that felt impossible without a lottery win or a magic spell. Then I met Andrew. Andrew was the magic spell. He was my boss's business partner, brilliant, kind, and profoundly grounded. He was everything I knew I needed but felt I didn't deserve. We met at a work event, and the connection wasn't a spark. It was a slow, deep burn that felt inevitable. A dangerous inevitability. There was just one thing. Andrew was married. To Evelyn. And this is where the salty angle really kicks in. This isn't a story about a whirlwind affair, cheap motels, and hurried excuses. This was worse. Andrew wasn't in an unhappy marriage. He loved Evelyn. They had built a life together, a beautiful, sun-drenched, stable life with a house full of books, 2 golden retrievers, and a rhythm that was enviable. But he wasn't in love with her anymore. He was in love with the life they had created. And when he looked at me, he saw a way out that terrified him. The sharpest emotional detail wasn't the first illicit kiss. It was the look in his eyes right after. Not lust, but a paralyzing guilt mixed with a profound sense of relief. It was the look of a man who had just lit a match and knew, with absolute certainty, that he couldn't stop the fire. Our affair lasted 6 months. 6 months of whispered calls, stolen lunches, and intense, terrifying connection. I told myself I was the lightning, the catalyst for the change he already wanted. I was the brave one, forcing honesty into a stagnant situation. The honesty that's uncomfortable. I wasn't just in love with Andrew. I was in love with the life he could give me. The life his resources, his stability, and his influence represented. I loved the feeling of being the priority for a man who had his life together. I knew, deep down, that without his comfortable life, I wouldn't have looked at him twice. I wanted the pedestal, and Evelyn was standing on it. Then, Andrew made a choice. He ended the affair. He told me he couldn't do it to Evelyn, that his commitment meant more than his fleeting happiness. He broke my heart, but he also broke the spell. This is the part I never share. This is the confession they never shared before. I didn't just walk away and mourn. I didn't gracefully accept the rejection. I fought for him, but not with tears or dramatic pleas. I fought with the knowledge of his deepest professional vulnerability, a minor but career-damaging breach of ethics he had confessed to me in a moment of intoxicated vulnerability. It was a secret he'd entrusted to me, his temporary escape. I didn't expose him directly. I did something colder, something on the edge of morality. I engineered a situation where that information, sanitized, slightly warped, and without my fingerprints on it, landed in the hands of a rival at his firm. I didn't do it for revenge. I did it to create chaos. I did it because I knew his stable life with Evelyn was his shield, and I needed to shatter the shield to get to the man underneath. Andrew's world imploded. And when it did, where did he turn? To the chaos? To the lightning? To me. Evelyn, crushed by the professional betrayal and the loss of the future they'd planned, couldn't handle the subsequent revelations of emotional distance. She packed her bags and left before the full weight of the affair ever hit her. She never knew about me. She just knew the man she married was gone, replaced by a reckless stranger. Andrew and I got back together within a month. He was raw, broken, and clinging to the one person who seemed to understand his fall from grace. Within a year, we were married. 2 years later, we had our son. the bittersweet ending? Today, 10 years later, we are genuinely happy. The love we found in the rubble is real, deep, and tested. He looks at me with adoration. We have the life I dreamed of, better than the one he lost. We moved to a new city, and he rebuilt his career, stronger and wiser. But here is the shadow, the lingering after feeling that sits on my chest every time I look at my son's peaceful face. I am the architect of my own happiness, but I am also the villain in Evelyn's story. I didn't just win, I cheated. My beautiful life exists only because I pushed a good, hesitant man off a cliff and then caught him on the way down. The rawest truth I face every day is this. Evelyn was a casualty of my ambition and selfishness. I never meant to destroy her, only to remove her as an obstacle. But I did it. I chose my desire over her dignity and his commitment. Every time I look at Andrew, I don't see the man who loves me. I see the man whose life I deliberately broke to fix my own. That is the price of my success. That is the flavor of my regret. A deep, salty stain that no amount of happiness can fully wash out. I am a good person now, forged in the heat of a terrible decision. I look at my life now, and I've tried to make peace with the past by living a life of radical honesty with everyone except the one person who matters. Andrew will never know the full extent of my manipulation. I guard that secret fiercely, not for myself, but because it would destroy the foundation of the very love I fought so dirty to win. The lesson that stays with me is that karma doesn't always punish the guilty. Sometimes it rewards them, and the reward is heavy. True growth isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about making something beautiful out of the ugly wreckage you created. My love is real, but it is an expensive, purchased love, paid for with the currency of another woman's quiet sorrow. I live a happy life, but I live it knowing I forfeited the right to call it pure. And that's the truth I swore I'd never tell. The part of the story that makes my chest tighten and my hands shake, even now. I think about Evelyn sometimes. I hope she found her own peace, her own clean slate, far away from the chaos I started. And I wonder, if she knew what I did, would she call me a monster? Or would she see the desperate girl who fought so hard for a life she didn't believe she deserved? It makes you think about the quiet, selfish compromises we all make, doesn't it? The little sins that pave the road to our greatest joys. I'm curious about the echo of this story in your own life. Maybe not a massive ethical quandary like mine, but those small moments where you chose your own well-being over someone else's comfort. If this story made you feel something, a sting of recognition, or maybe just a quiet shock, I'd love to hear it. What is the one hard-won lesson you learned from a difficult decision that you wish you could go back and tell your younger self? Let me know in the comments below. And if these grown-up real stories resonate with you, the ones that hurt a little but heal a lot, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. I'm going to keep opening up these old, salty wounds, one story at a time. Thank you for listening to my truth today.